This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil prices lost more than 1% on Tuesday after surging nearly 2% in the previous session as traders monitor developments surrounding the war in Ukraine and potential disruption to Russian fuel supplies. Brent crude was down $1.08, or 1.57%, at $67.72 a barrel by 10:40 GMT, having hit its highest since early August in the previous session. West Texas Intermediate crude lost $1.13, or about 1.74%, to $63.67. The modest setback today is due to risk aversion, with equity markets trading lower, said UBS analyst Giovanni Stanovo. Geopolitical factors are something to watch for, particularly what Trump might do if there is no meeting between Russia and Ukraine.
Spot differentials for the fuel oil market were rangebound in Asia on Tuesday, with trading momentum largely thin on the whole. The cash differential for very low sulfur fuel oil, VLSFO, remained in a premium amid some signs of recovery in recent sessions, while high sulfur fuel oil, HSFO, held in discounts amid an absence of fresh drivers. Amid the stronger performance in VLSFO, the high 5 fuel oil spread widened to over $90 a ton as of Tuesday, based on data compiled by LSEG.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
US and Russian government officials discussed several energy deals on the sidelines of negotiations this month that sought to achieve peace in Ukraine, according to 5 sources familiar with the talks. These deals were put forward as incentives to encourage the Kremlin to agree to peace in Ukraine and for Washington to ease sanctions on Russia, they said. Russia has been cut off from most international investment in its energy sector and from striking major deals due to sanctions following the Ukraine invasion that began in February 2022.
China will tighten its carbon trading market by introducing absolute emissions caps in some industries for the first time starting by 2027, China's cabinet said on Monday evening. The absolute caps will be implemented first in industries with relatively stable carbon emissions by 2027, according to the opinion from the State Council. By 2030, China's nationwide carbon market or emissions trading scheme will be basically established with absolute emissions caps and a combination of free and paid carbon emissions allowances, CEAs, it said. Currently, CEAs are based on carbon intensity benchmarks that are reduced over time, rather than absolute emissions caps. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. The Shanghai Futures Exchange said on Tuesday it would lower the price limit and trade margins for cast aluminium alloy futures starting from the settlement on August 28. The price limit for the cast aluminium alloy futures will be lowered to 5% from 7%, the bourse said in a statement. Trade margins for hedging positions will be adjusted to 6% from the current 8%, it added.
Gold prices hit a more than 2-week high on Tuesday after U.S. President Donald Trump said he was removing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, a move seen by many as eroding the central bank's independence and undermining confidence in U.S. assets. Spot gold was up 0.4% at $3,378.64 an ounce at 11:43 GMT, having hit its highest since August 11 at $3,386.27 earlier in the session. U.S. gold futures for December delivery were up 0.3% at $3,426.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
The United States has agreed in principle to exempt Indonesian exports of cocoa, palm oil and rubber from President Donald Trump's tariff of 19% imposed since August 7, the Southeast Asian nation's chief tariff negotiator said on Tuesday. The exemption will take effect once both sides reach a final pact, but no timeline was set as the U.S. was busy in tariff talks with other countries, Erlangga Hartarto, who is also the chief economic minister, told Reuters in an interview. Also figuring in tariff talks was discussion of a potential U.S. investment in fuel storage in Indonesia, together with its sovereign wealth fund Danantara and state energy firm Pertamina, Erlangga said. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.